From the Bob Mills Weather Center, the Oklahoma weather expert, Travis Meyer.
That's pretty cool, but that's about the only thing that's cool in Broken Arrow right now. It's so hot, we don't even have a temperature. Temperatures running in the upper 90s most areas. 100 at this hour still at Sapulpa. We did pop up to 101 in Glenpool briefly, and we're hanging around 100 multiple locations, as I was mentioning. Temperatures across much of Oklahoma right now still in the 90s, and again, normal high is 83. I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier. So we're having some issues, but we think this is bad. It was 103 last hour in Lincoln, Nebraska. It was the hottest spot in the United States was in Nebraska. What is wrong with that picture? And we were saying it made popcorn after the Sooners made some popcorn earlier. We're talking about so much colder just up at Billings. Some of that cool air is going to swipe down and make a big difference for the northern central plains, and it'll brush with us as we get on into Thursday. But just to give you an idea, Alaska is starting to cool off a little bit more across the air, and usually when we're hot, more of Alaska and Canada is a little bit cooler. Also, I want to point out something that is weird. We have flood watches all the way from the Mexican border through Arizona, and then extending through Utah, western Colorado, and western portions of New Mexico. And you go, okay, yeah, that is kind of weird because that's kind of the desert southwest. What's going on? Well, that's because we're so doggone hot. This ridge of high pressure is here, but it continues to scoop up moisture. And we're getting a little bit of almost tropical-like moisture coming in, and usually we don't say that very often off the southwest Baja coast, but that moisture is getting entrained and stuck right in between that low and that high, and that's why they've had a couple of days of rain. They're going to have some more rain over the next couple of days. Then finally that ridge breaks down about the time we get on into the first day of fall, and so we start to have a little bit more of that cool air that was up in Montana getting pushed down into our area, so it's a brief break because that ridge starts to build back again as we get on into next week. We have a nice cool front that'll be in on Sunday afternoon, and that'll knock our temperatures down, make it very comfortable for Sunday evening, Monday, maybe into Tuesday. And then we have to start watching what's happening down to the south. And what is this? That could be a massive hurricane someplace in the Gulf. Right now it's showing up on the east, but that's about 10 days out, so we'll worry about that some other time. In the meantime, we're going to still be very warm because this ridge is not really going anywhere, and when you're to the west of a big major storm system such as a hurricane, usually it's bone dry. And that's just what the doctor did not order for us. Anyway, we have a lot of pollen still going on. Obviously, ragweed season, we're at the peak of it right now. We're talking about temperatures sitting at 97 degrees, 28% humidity. It's dry, so you say it's comfortable, but the problem is it's stressing out the plants. And we're looking at 70s tomorrow morning. And then as we go on into tomorrow afternoon, the last day of summer is just going to prove to be the last day of summer, 100 degrees. Should break a record. Cool front moves on through. Temperatures on Thursday morning will be in the 60s north, around 70, low 70 south. And then Thursday afternoon, look at this, Coffeyville at 74. We'll be in the low 80s. We'll still be in the 90s if you guys are further to the south. You have a little bit more sun. That front just isn't pushing through the mountains of southeast Oklahoma. And then on Friday, because that boundary just kind of isn't that strong, it'll start to warm back up. So we'll be 80s east and low 90s here. And then as we extend the forecast into Saturday, we're in the 90s, and we have another hot day. You're like, it's fall, but it doesn't matter. But that next cold front coming through will help us knock us back down in the 80s. So there is some hope, and that is some welcome news. And if you're looking for rain over the next 10 days, really, there isn't a whole lot, so you got to hang in there. Precipitation outlook is slim to none for Saturday on into Sunday. All right, so the forecast looks like this. We're talking about temperatures running right around 90. It is going to be very warm, very toasty as we go on into the evening hours, as you can pretty much figure out. 77 in the morning, sunrise at 7:11, and we're already in the 90s for your lunch hour, which is not that exciting. And then we get rid of the triple-digit heat finally is gone. This looks a little bit better. We're going to X out Wednesday here tomorrow. Then here comes fall on a good note, but it looks better. I'm going to say that, but man, it'd sure be nice to find some rain out there somewhere. But there's 2 to 3 weeks yet. I don't see a whole lot going on.